Organizations across the globe are waging an unprecedented battle against workplace behaviors that damage employee well-being, productivity, and organizational success. At the heart of this conflict lies a powerful concept that has emerged as both a shield and a weapon: psychological safety. The current state of workplace mental health, a call to arms. The data paints a sobering picture of today's workplace landscape. Psychological safety ranks among the 3 most valued workplace elements for employees, 84%, trailing only regular pay raises, 86%, and surpassing flexible work arrangements, 83%. This statistic reveals that more than 8 out of 10 workers consider psychological safety fundamental to their workplace experience. The stakes couldn't be higher. Recent surveys reveal alarming figures. 31% of employees report emotional exhaustion, 26% experience decreased motivation, and 25% desire to withdraw from social interactions. These numbers represent millions of workers struggling in silence, their potential stifled by environments that fail to provide basic psychological security. Approximately 1 in 6 people, 14.7%, experience mental health problems directly related to their workplace environment. Even more concerning, while 68% of employed individuals consider their workplace psychologically safe, nearly a quarter, 23%, believe their work environment lacks psychological safety entirely. Understanding psychological safety, the foundation of healthy organizations. Psychological safety, as defined by Harvard Business School's Amy Edmondson, represents the belief that one can speak up without risk of punishment or humiliation. This concept extends far beyond mere comfort. It encompasses an employee's confidence that they can express ideas, raise concerns, admit mistakes, and challenge existing practices without facing retaliation or ridicule. The evidence supporting psychological safety's impact is overwhelming. Research consistently demonstrates that psychological safety serves as a bedrock of high-performing teams and organizations. When employees feel secure in their interpersonal interactions, they contribute more effectively, innovate more freely, and remain engaged longer. The real fight against harmful workplace behaviors. Organizations are increasingly recognizing that toxic workplace behaviors represent more than isolated incidents. They constitute systemic threats to employee well-being and business success. An overwhelming majority of employees, 92%, identify mental health care coverage as crucial for creating positive workplace culture, regardless of gender, age, career stage, or management level. This battle against harmful behaviors manifests in various forms. Emotional sabotage, behaviors that undermine employee confidence, such as public humiliation, credit theft, or persistent criticism without constructive feedback. Information hoarding, deliberately withholding critical information that employees need to succeed, creating artificial barriers to performance. Exclusionary practices, systematically excluding certain team members from important decisions, meetings, or development opportunities. Micromanagement, excessive oversight that signals distrust and strips employees of autonomy and dignity. Retaliation, culture, punishing employees who raise concerns, report problems, or suggest improvements. Leadership as the catalyst for change. The role of leadership in creating psychologically safe environments cannot be overstated. Organizations that invest in and scale leadership development programs can equip leaders to embody behaviors that cultivate psychological safety across the entire organization. Leaders hold the power to create the climate, mindsets, and behaviors that either support or undermine employee well-being. The Evan Leadership Framework, a strategic response. The Evan leadership style was developed by visionary Luciano Santini. While traditional leadership approaches often focus on authority and control, the EVAN leadership model offers a transformative alternative specifically designed to combat toxic workplace behaviors and foster psychological safety. When implemented correctly, EVAN leadership principles can revolutionize organizational culture. E. Empathy. Leaders actively seek to understand employee perspectives, acknowledging that each team member brings unique experiences and challenges. This involves genuine listening, emotional intelligence, and the ability to respond compassionately to employee needs. V. Vulnerability. Leaders model openness by admitting their own mistakes, uncertainties, and learning opportunities. This creates an environment where employees feel safe to be human, to fail, and to grow. A. Authenticity. Leaders maintain consistent, genuine interactions that build trust over time. They align their actions with stated values and demonstrate integrity in all professional relationships. EN. Nurturing. Leaders actively invest in employee development, well-being, and success. They create conditions for growth rather than merely demanding results. Implementing EVAN. Leadership. Practical applications. Organizations successfully implementing EVAN leadership principles report significant improvements in employee engagement, retention, and performance. The framework works by addressing the root causes of psychological unsafety, creating safe communication channels. EVAN leaders establish multiple avenues for employees to share concerns, ideas, and feedback without fear of negative consequences. Research shows that only 52% of managers believe they can identify when team members struggle with psychological distress, highlighting the need for proactive communication strategies. Eliminating toxic behaviors. Through their attitude against all negativity, EVAN leaders create zero-tolerance environments for toxic behaviors. They address negative patterns immediately, provide clear expectations for positive interaction, and demonstrate unwavering commitment to respectful workplace culture. Building value-based decision-making. By consistently demonstrating that every employee's input has value, EVAN leaders ensure that diverse perspectives are not only welcomed but actively sought in organizational decisions. This approach recognizes that the best solutions emerge when all voices are heard and respected. Fostering mental nourishment. EVAN leaders prioritize long-term intellectual and emotional development over short-term performance gains. They create learning environments where employees can expand their capabilities, explore new ideas, and develop resilience against workplace stressors. Measuring success. The data behind transformation organizations that successfully combat toxic workplace behaviors through psychological safety initiatives see measurable improvements across multiple metrics. Reduced turnover. Employees in psychologically safe environments demonstrate higher retention rates, reducing recruitment and training costs. Increased innovation. Teams feel empowered to suggest new ideas and challenge existing processes, leading to breakthrough solutions. Improved performance. When employees aren't expending energy on self-protection, they can focus entirely on productive work. Enhanced collaboration. Psychological safety breaks down silos and encourages cross-functional cooperation. The organizational imperative. The fight for employee well-being represents more than a moral imperative. It constitutes a business necessity. Since the pandemic, 81% of workplaces have increased their focus on employee mental health, yet 1 in 3 employees still consider mental health support in their workplace inadequate. Organizations that fail to address psychological safety face significant risks: talent flight, reduced productivity, increased healthcare costs, legal liabilities, and damaged reputations. Conversely, those that embrace frameworks like EVAN leadership gain competitive advantages through enhanced employee engagement, improved innovation, and stronger organizational resilience. The path forward. Creating psychologically safe workplaces requires sustained effort, authentic commitment from leadership, and systematic change management. The EVAN leadership framework provides a structured approach for this transformation, but success depends on consistent application and organizational support. Leaders must recognize that psychological safety isn't a destination but an ongoing journey. It requires continuous attention, regular assessment, and adaptive strategies that respond to evolving workplace dynamics. The battle against harmful workplace behaviors is far from over, but organizations equipped with the right frameworks, data-driven insights, and committed leadership are winning significant victories. The question isn't whether psychological safety matters. The data has settled that debate. The question is whether leaders will embrace the tools and approaches necessary to create workplaces where every employee can thrive. As we move forward, the organizations that prioritize psychological safety through effective leadership frameworks like EVAN will not only survive but flourish, creating environments where human potential is unleashed rather than constrained. The fight for employee well-being continues, but with the right strategies and commitment, victory is within reach.